actually prepared a video just to keep it short and precise. So I hope you will watch that video, which introduces the Memorize project. Hope it's not too weird since I'm here in person, but hopefully we can gain a little bit of time by doing it in that way. Let me see if I can find it. Is it this one? Okay, so it's and actually it's a presentation. Okay, so yes, so I would like to introduce Project Memorize to you. So I hope I can do this very fast. Yes, so as I said before, or as I was introduced, my name is Nicklas, and I would like to introduce to you Project Memorize. So the main goal of Project Memorize is to create a framework and a platform for preserving and enhancing the heritage related to Nazi persecution, so HNP for short. So the project, it runs for 48 months. We started back in late 2022, so that puts us around halfway through the project. So the project ends in 2026. So the project consortium, it consists of 11 partners across Europe and Israel, and together we bring expertise in visual interface design, the establishment of IT infrastructure, storytelling, and most importantly, deep insights into the data, which we aim to preserve and enhance. Yes, so I would like to focus on the data that we work with in the project, because much of Memorize revolves around HNP data, so data related to the heritage of Nazi persecution. And the types of data we work with are, among others, text-based data, such as diaries and written testimonies, which capture the memories of eyewitnesses. We also work with letters and registrations of, it could be, for example, deaths or deportation statistics. And then to give context to these written records, we also work with historical photographs, and in some cases we also have captions to these photographs. In terms of more digital data types, we work with 3D models. Just as an example, in the top left corner you can see the Memorize project team working with people in the Belmonte concentration camp, and they're trying to create this 3D model you see in the middle of the right-hand side here. So of course all of these different types of data I showed you here, they all come from the Belmonte camp. And that brings me to the next slide. So we want a way to process and interlink all these different kinds of data. And the way we're doing that is through our Kubernetes-based platform, which hosts services for not just transforming and enriching and interlinking data, but also for storing it appropriately, making the data accessible to end users, which include expert users and casual users. Yes, and how we do that is we have a service for ingesting data, processing it, transforming it, enriching it, and then interlinking it in specific databases. And then this data in these databases is then made accessible to expert users through, for example, you can see in the top right, this red box, we have our curation tool and a data annotation and curation tool. And then, just to give an example of an interface that is accessible to casual users, we have a web platform where these casual users, they can explore this wealth of HNP data, which is of course interlinked and connected. Right, so in terms of processing and enriching the data, we're doing knowledge extraction and interlinking. And as a part of that, we're translating all of the resources we have, which are mainly Dutch and German, but we also have some English ones. We translate all of them into English, essentially. And then after they've been translated into English, we're also applying tagging techniques to enrich the data. So we're currently developing an HMP tagger approach, which tags these different resources with temporal, geospatial, topical information, and so on and so forth. And then, of course, by tagging the data, all of this data, all of these resources that we have, we can interlink them in a knowledge graph, making them more easily accessible. So beyond just enriching the data and translating it, we're also employing a recommendation system, an AI-based recommendation system, which helps casual users explore this vast historical data, HMP data. So as, let's say, the user explores images and text from, let's say, a specific concentration camp, the user is then recommended other content which could be interesting to the user. So here we have an example of, a concrete example of a specific expert user interface. So this is the annotation and curation tool. What the notation and curation tool allows is for an expert to view diary entries, letter entries, text data, and it allows not just the expert user to explore the data. For example, the expert user could explore the change of concepts over time in the data, or let's say locations related to the textual data. But it also allows the expert user to annotate the data or correct the tagging which was performed with AI. So we have this kind of like expert curated data. Yeah, then in terms of a concrete example of an interface for casual users, we have the HMP platform, which essentially it's an unguided exploration. Oops, sorry. It's an unguided exploration of the HMP data. I wanted to show it down here, but I guess it's not really possible. But that's the casual user explore the data, and all the data in the interlinked knowledge graph. Yes, in the end, what we ultimately want to do is to create an educational concept to then evaluate our interfaces with respect to like engagement, interaction, and how people sort of engage with HMP data. And as a part of that, we also want to provide best practices to that accelerate the use of digital tools in cultural heritage and adjacent cultural industries. Yes, thank you very much. That was what I had for you.